No. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Time it. Let's go. Blazing takes. Yeah. I just gotta have my blazing takes. I know what this is. Blazing takes. If you get offended, so great. Y'all here because y'all want the real. And you know I'm gonna get it. But enough with all that. Let the show.
Yo, what's up, SimWorld? What it do? What it looking like? This is Rick Blaze with another episode of Rick's Blazing Takes, coming at you live and direct of what's going on in SimWorld. And man, I got a show for you today. Today is Saturday, December the 10th. Happy holidays to everyone, no matter which version of a holiday that you celebrate. We had a showdown 3-on-3 in the Big Apple today. First round action looked really well, really entertaining. I'm not going to get too much into that because I know some of my constituents on the other shows talks about that. So I'm going to get to something that's equally as important. Today's topic is too big or not too big. I decided it would be a good idea to break down the incoming recruits, specifically the bigs or quote unquote bigs that are coming into SimWorld, so that the players, so that the coaches, so that the fans, so that the media can get a better understanding of these quote unquote bigs that we're talking about. So I want to break it down. I want to look at the top 20 of rankings of the ACA recruits, which means these are big people who do not have teams that they are committed to. Actually, there are one that has, but he's still on the ACA list. And I just went with the bigger guys, people who are 6'6" or taller in the top 20. 6'6" or taller, top 20. I went and I just narrowed it down. First, we're going to talk about the types of bigs, and then I'm going to get into those specific names and those players, and I'm going to categorize them for you to hopefully that you can understand better how this works. So, first, talk about the bigs, the traditional big. The traditional big is the big that stays in the paint majority of the time. He's not going to go no more than about 5, 6, 7, 8 feet from the paint. He lives in the paint. He stays in the paint. He is a traditional big. When I think about traditional bigs, think about players like Shaquille O'Neal. Think about Dikembe Mutombo. If you think about more of a modern big, traditional big, Rudy Gobert. Although they bring him out for the pick and roll, typically when he's rolling, he's going right to the paint. If it's not for a pick and roll, he's not leaving that paint. He thrives. He do his most damage. He doesn't have any offensive skill set, but he does his most damage inside of the paint. That's where he lives, in the paint. These are the traditional bigs. So keep that in mind, traditional bigs. I'm going to categorize our new recruits shortly based on these categories. Traditional big is the first category, right? The second category I'm going to say stretch big or modern big. The stretch big is the big. They can do some damage in the paint, but they also can step outside the paint and they have range within 15 feet. And for some bigs, further than that. Those are your stretch bigs. They can go in and out. Some examples of that would be a David Robinson early on. Hakeem Olajuwon would be considered a stretch big, of a modern big. I think Robinson and Hakeem started that. Now, players like Kevin Garnett and players like Kevin Love took it to a whole nother level. They shooting 18-foot jumpers. Kevin Love ended up shooting three-pointers. He didn't even have a three-point shot when he first came into the league to Minnesota, leaving the UCLA. But he developed that, right? So the modern bigs or the stretch bigs are the David Robinsons, the Kevin Garnett's, and Kevin Loves, and the Jokovic of the world. Bigs who can do some damage inside, but they can also go outside and hit the long-range jumper, in a lot of cases now, even the three-point jumper at times. Now, those are the modern bigs. Now, the third category, which is going to call the big wing. These are guys who are 6'6" or taller, but they do not play big. They do not do most of their damage inside of the paint. Okay, guys like Giannis, he's 6'10", but he can do a little bit. He can go big in a pinch, but he's most effective going downhill, not sitting in the paint. Guys like Kevin Durant, he's 7 foot. He is not a guy who's in the paint. So these are I'm calling them the big wings. So again, we got traditional big, modern big, and big wings. Now with those three categories, I'm going to categorize those new players, recruits that's coming in, so that the coaches kind of see, how does that fit on my team? Or if he's on my team, or if I'm considering having on my team, where should I play? Where can he be most effective? Starting off with Trey Hyman, who's ranked really high in the top 5. Trey Hyman, he is 6'10", and he looks just like a traditional big. However, I don't see Trey Hyman panning out as a traditional big at all. I see Trey Hyman panning out as either a modern big, or if he can really develop a jump shot, he can be a big wing. I know he's 6'10", he's a big guy, strong guy, but again, I don't think Trey Hyman's going to do most of his damage in the paint. I think he's more of a modern big, like a Jokic or like a Kevin Garnett. Now, that doesn't mean he's there right now today. Coaches, this is where you do your job. You have to coach him up, develop the jump shot so that he can become that. In my opinion, I think Trey Hyman becomes a modern big and not a traditional big. So if you're looking to get the most out of Trey Hyman from a traditional big style, then you probably need to try somewhere else. All right, the next big I'm going to talk about on this list is Keandre Baldridge. Keandre Baldridge is a very interesting one as well because he's really quick. For a man his size. He's really quick for a man his size. So I struggled trying to he's 6'10", 199 pounds, 16 years old. That's key. Trey Hyman's 17. Keandre is 16, which means he has room to grow into something other else as well. I feel Trey Hyman, I think right now you can use him in a more of a modern day big, but I think he's going to be a big wing. I think Trey Hyman, I'm not Trey Hyman, I think Keandre Baldridge is going to end up as a big wing. I think he's more like a Giannis type. I think he's going to end up as a big wing. I think he can play a little big for you now, a little modern big if you want to, if you have him on your team. But I think he's going to eventually end up being a big wing. The next person on the list, go with Tyrell Thompson. Tyrell Thompson, 6'8", 237 pounds. Again, I think he's a modern big. Tyrell Thompson, he gets his money in the paint. Don't get it twisted. He is a beast in the paint. He has an assortment of moves in the paint, but he also got a little jumper too. He got a little baby jumper. I think he can develop that kind of like a Stoudemire. He has more offensive moves than Amari Stoudemire, but I can see him develop a little 10-foot, 12-foot jumper like Amari Stoudemire eventually did. So Tyrell Thompson, I also would project him as being a modern big. The next person on the list, I'm going to go with Levin Cutler. Again, this guy is 6'9", but he's only 16 years old. He has moves in the post. I say right now he's more of a traditional big. But he's 16 years old, means he has way more time to grow. And so that couldn't change by next year. But right now, Levin Cutler, I would say I lean closer to more being a traditional big. Next person on the list is Darian King-Cross. Again, he's 6'6". He is a big wing. 6'6". Cross is 17 years old. He is a big wing for sure. He is for sure a big wing. He is not a traditional big. He is not a modern day big. He is a big wing for sure. After that, we have ranked at number 16, Maury Washington, 6'9", 254 pounds. I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen Maury Washington play. I have no idea what Maury Washington can do. I have not. Somebody let me know. They just had an open run in Houston. Maury Washington was not part of that. I have not seen Maury Washington play. Did I miss something? Was he on the court and maybe he didn't make a splash? I have not seen Maury Washington play, but he's ranked number 16, so I have to mention him. He's the only person in the top 15 ranked. Well, now I take that back. There's a few people that I've seen in the top 15 ranked that I have not seen them play at all. I cannot recall them being on the court at any point in time. I'm not going to go through all those names. I'm just talking about the bigs. But Maury Washington is one of those players. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen him play. Number 17, Corey Yams, right there. I've seen him play. 6'9", 226 pounds. He is by far the person on here uncategorizedly. That's not even a word. I think I just made that up. But he is by far a traditional big. If you're looking for a traditional big on your roster and you don't have one, Corey Yams is by far and away a traditional big that's coming into this new recruiting class. He's going to stay in that paint. He's going to make his money in that paint. He's going to live in that paint offensively and defensively. And I think he got a little nasty edge to him, so he don't mind putting those players on their ass when they come in the paint. That's Corey Yams, traditional big. I did the top 20, so I didn't go any further down than that. So those are the guys for the recruits that's coming in, and this is who I feel they're going to project to be. So coaches, keep that information in mind. Media, keep that information in mind. If you guys have something similar or you guys think differently than what I'm saying, feel free to put it in the Discord chat. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel. Too big or not too big? That is the question, and I just gave you the answer. That's my time. Till next time, looking forward to seeing these games. Make sure y'all tune in. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I just gotta have my blazing takes. Blazing takes. Blazing takes. If you get offended, so great. Blazing takes. Y'all here because y'all want the real. I just gotta have